It's gonna be a late one. Fuck it. I'm gonna keep it as raw and organic as possible. So haven't been using those aligners. Everything's kind of been shifting back and kind of getting back into that same routine, just like I'm with this YouTube thing. And like I mentioned from the very first start, pretty much trying to be more genuine, be more organic. So it's gonna be a late one because for some reason my creative juices come out at night, so keep it rolling. So the main topic of this video, what I want to talk about is pretty much my opinion on the whole entire dating scene. Now, obviously I've, as you guys know, done some stuff in the past. I've been very, in terms of a guy, pretty successful with, you know, going on dates. Now as of late, being able to get usually second dates whenever I want, if I want. That pretty much gives me a little bit of a validation, a little bit of clarity, being one of those guys who actually knows what he's talking about and actually could talk the talk and walk the walk, as the expression goes. So kind of want to talk about what men's role in the whole entire dating scene is, because full transparency reason, I was dating one of those unapproachable ones, a dime piece, 10 out of 10. Everywhere we went, she would pretty much get complimented like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Kind of girl like that, pretty much. And when you're going through this dating scene, like I've been transparent, you gotta be a little bit more cutthroat, be a little bit more cold-blooded when you're going through this. So whenever a relationship ends, in this particular case, well, it's actually kind of a weird situation. It keeps looking at my story, but that's a side note, it doesn't really matter. Whenever you're going through one of these, you gotta be more cutthroat, you gotta be more cold-blooded, just as I was with that one girl a while back, and pretty much broke it off then and there that same night at her house, which I don't mean to laugh, but I just did not like her. And I told her that pretty much to her face. But side note, but I believe the male role in the whole entire dating scene is to be the best you can be, because if you're being your best, then you can give somebody else your best, and that pretty much works hand in hand both ways. Because starting out, you're not really knowing what you're doing, you're kind of just, as the expression goes, figuring out your relationship type, figuring out what you want, what you don't want. Pretty new to this, so you're kind of to a certain extent using people. And as you get older, or as you go through more life, more experiences, more dates, just as I've done, you realize, you self-reflect, and you realize that's probably the worst thing you could do is use people. Sure, you get a little bit of validation, a little bit of an ego boost, but as that shirt over there states, ego is the enemy and pride is the devil, because ego will lead you to do so many stupid things, like have a beautiful relationship and then some minor thing goes wrong in your opinion, so you go back to your old ways, start messaging somebody, set up a date, go along that path, and just get that ego fix pretty much. And that's pretty much what leads to that perpetual cycle of hurting people, because as the expression goes, hurt people. So what I would recommend for guys to do, from another guy who's been doing this for pretty much the past year and a half, is eliminate your ego. Put your ego out of this. Take some time and self-reflect. What the fuck do you want? Are you looking for a long-term relationship? What's your intentions? Stuff of that nature. Those serious types of questions, because even an unapproachable, even a dime piece, a 10 out of 10, there are regular people too who just think the same way, but just have a little bit different standards, as people should, me myself included. So pretty much leads me to the whole entire expression, leading by example. So, or as I've previously said, fuck. Give me a minute, it's late at night. I promised myself I wouldn't be doing these, but fuck it. Gotta focus on this too, along with the whole entire Conviction clothing line. So just as I'm being intentional with that, I'm also being intentional on being more genuine and being raw and organic. And I think YouTube will really appreciate that in the future. And hopefully inspire some other people to do the same. But yeah, I used to, as a guy who didn't really know what the fuck he was doing, just going along that dating scene, getting his ego fixed, getting a little bit of validation, I realized I used a lot of those women, used a lot of those experiences. And when you're going through that, you actually meet a whole entire bunch of beautiful connections. Your Sofias, your Carolinas, Stefanias, your Valentinas. I think I gotta type. But yeah, you meet a lot of people and learn a lot from one another. So when you're going along this whole entire dating thing and you don't have any clue what you're looking for, don't have any intention, that's the best course of advice, to be figuring out what you can handle, what you can't handle. Me personally, I know I need communication pretty much day in and day out, because if you don't have that foundation already built with communication, then it's just gonna slowly deteriorate and become more of a hassle later on, because people are gonna be interpreting what you're thinking. As far as I know, nobody's a mind reader. So that's just gonna lead to a negative cycle. And along with setting boundaries, you figure out that balance between being firm and an asshole. Me personally, I had a slight dispute with this girl I was dating, and got on the phone. There was a little bit of back and forth. And that's personally, in my opinion, when you have to be a little bit more firm. Be a man and set your boundaries. In that particular case, I snapped my fingers and I told her, wait, I'm talking right now. And there was radio silence until I finished my opinion. And then you give that other person the time and the space that they gave you. See right there? That's building a relationship. That's building up some communication. Because the one thing you do find out is there's always gonna be arguments. There's always gonna be struggle. But you just gotta decide who you wanna struggle with. Along with doing all those little cute and adorable stuff when you're at the date, i.e. feeding each other food. Pro tip, if you're a guy going on a date, getting lunch or any kind of food aspect, always feed them. They'll help you out, trust me on that. And going through these dates, you figure out pretty much the thing that you're so scared of the opposite sex is pretty much the same person as you. Thinking the same thoughts, having the same inclinations as you, so there's nothing to be fearful about. And if it doesn't work out, there's nothing to worry about too, because as I previously stated, leading by example, I'm always working on myself and working on the next best thing, and that usually attracts people from my particular experience, so it's not a big deal. As one of my favorite Stoics, Epictetus, popularized, the dichotomy of control. I live by that, stand by that, convicted by that, which pretty much means stuff's gonna happen, but the only thing that you can control is your reaction to those things. So if you're going through that in a relationship or anything like that, best course of advice, again, in that particular circumstance, focus on yourself, focus on everything you're building. Don't do any immature stuff, just leave it like that, because you got better things to do than be a little bitch to a certain extent. So I believe the way forward, the way you should handle this as a guy is pretty much being more genuine. And whenever somebody asks you in a date or whatever, so what are you looking for? If you pause for a second and you don't really know what the fuck you're looking for, you don't know how to answer that question, well, that's your answer right there. You don't know. So instead of playing around, being somebody with an intention, my best course of advice, what I would recommend myself, who was just starting out back in the day, tell the other person, if you do get asked this question, say this: hey, pretty much just started dating pretty late. I made a rule for myself, I don't shit where I eat, so I try not to, I try to separate my work with my personal life, so that's pretty much out of the equation. So that's why I'm pretty much been using Hinge, along with getting more dating experience and figuring out what type of guy I am and what type of person I could be for somebody else. And yeah, that's pretty much just going with the flow and figuring shit out just like everybody else. So that's what I would tell myself to tell somebody else if I was first starting out. That's not saying just use it as a hookup, because like I previously stated, those, as much of an ego boost as you do get from those, It's not the same, it's not comparable, so I don't recommend it. But what I would tell myself nowadays, a dude who's been going down this path with more experience and learning right from wrong, as Tramel, the Uber driver, said poetically, knowing what you want. Because you might get twisted around and think, is this sugar or is it Splenda? You can't tell the difference. But as a guy who's been going through this, I now know the difference, and I now know what I want. So be more intentional, be more convicted in saying that. And yeah, I think you don't get this nowadays, that raw and organic kind of opinion in terms of the whole entire online, or in terms of the whole entire dating scene, because a lot of people have a lot of different options, and too many options leads to indecision. So it ties back to everything else. You need to be decisive. You need to have intention and live with intention. Be more genuine with that. I stand by that. I'm convicted in that. So hopefully this gives a little bit more clarity to you guys pretty much starting out dating. And yeah, best course of advice also is focus on yourself, like I previously said, to be the best version of yourself. That way you could give somebody the best version of yourself. Don't live life with regret. Hope you found some value in this video. Hope you found some information. I upload every Wednesday and every Sunday, so make sure to come back. And as always, should I make this a dating channel again? I don't know. You tell me in the comments down below. But as always, it's been your boy, Coach Ed. If you need any more dating tips or advice, comment down below. Be sure to help you out. Buy some conviction wear. See you later.